It's Sarah. I'm back. And guess what? I got my diagnosis today. I have autoimmune hepatitis. Not a surprise. Not a surprise to anybody. But I did want to give a quick update today on what happened with my gastroenterologist and where we're going from here. So I have autoimmune hepatitis. Not a surprise. Consistent with biopsy, consistent with blood draws. I got another round of blood draws after my biopsy, got the results back 2 days ago. Guess what? We're going up and to the right. More and more liver enzymes. A lot of other markers in the test are still within normal range. So that's really, really good. That's really, really good. We have still caught it early, but we've now moved from a mild to a moderate range. So I felt a lot of anxiety coming into this appointment. So much anxiety that I accidentally wrote down the wrong time for the appointment. And instead of being 50 minutes early, I was 45 minutes early. That is such a me thing. But I was so amped that I couldn't read my book. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, a lot to work on, growth, opportunities for growth. I have a lot of anxiety because it is pretty clear what the answer was going to be, but the treatment was not really clear to me. It's not very severe. So as I think I shared before, they could treat me very aggressively, or we could do a wait and see. In a previous version of myself, I would have said, just treat the crap out of it. Just whatever you got, give it to me. It's not the case with this. And actually with a lot of diseases, I'm learning that the treatment, there are significant side effects or there are a lot of downsides. So I think I mentioned before, if you go on immunosuppressants for AIH, autoimmune hepatitis, look at me, lingo, somewhere between 50 and 80% of people, once they start this medication, are on it for the rest of their lives. It's a big deal. Like prognosis is good once you have the diagnosis. 80% of AIH patients can live with their own liver for the rest of their lives. It's really, really good. So, and I'm relatively young and relatively healthy. A lot of things in my favor. So question number one was, do you treat? How aggressively do you treat? And then the bigger question for me is, how do you treat? So I'll get to that in a minute. So showed up way early, as I mentioned, sitting in the little room, and Dr. B came in, gastroenterologist. He was pretty clear. Yes, we're now in the moderate category, even though the antibodies aren't quite as high as we would expect. And then you go down, once you're looking at autoimmune hepatitis, you go on a checklist of different markers that a physician would look for to say, once you pass these markers, then we would treat. I'm almost there on the liver enzymes. So when your liver enzymes are at 10 times the normal amount of liver enzyme, they would say we will treat you. I'm really close. So now I get to go do a monthly blood draw for the foreseeable future to monitor the liver enzymes. Basically, that's there. Or they would want to see your IgGs 2 times the upper limit. So I'm basically there. We could, it sounds like from his perspective, do a wait and see. However, this is all kind of a moot point or a moo point if you are a Friends fan. And here it is. I've shared this before. There are 2 treatments that are the standard for AIH. The first is steroids. The second is immunosuppressants. I am thankful that my physician remembered that I told him I will never go on steroids again if I can avoid it. He remembers this. And this was my experience with budesonide. Budesonide is not the first-line treatment. It is prednisone. So as a reminder, this is a great analogy. Let's say I took prednisone, and one of the side effects with prednisone was that my teeth turned pink. I love pink, kind of distracting. So I said to my physician, hey, do you have anything that gives me all these amazing benefits of prednisone but doesn't turn my teeth pink? And my doctor would say, yes, we do. It's called budesonide, and it's a newer medication. The mechanism's a little bit differently. Your body will respond. So guess what? You're going to get all of those benefits and your teeth won't turn pink. And I said, great, except my teeth turn pink. So it's much, much rarer to have all of the side effects. But my side effects, my teeth were just as pink as if I were taking the preferred treatment or the former treatment. And we see this with a lot of medications over time, where birth control used to be at dosages way too high for what we know that we need now, or antidepressants, and some of the side effects related to those. As new generations of those medications have come out, they've gotten a lot better. It's the same with steroids. Here is the problem. It is not just that it's prednisone, which is the steroid that doesn't actually turn my teeth pink, but made a long part of my life very not great. It is a very heavy dose. So when you think about the liver, basically we're thinking about the liver being doused by the water coming out of a fire hydrant. This was a great metaphor that was on the Autoimmune Hepatitis Association's page, which I'm joining today. Woohoo. And then the immunosuppressants come later, and it's more like a sprinkler that's, keeping anything from smoldering. So we have a problem because the standard treatment is not going to be a good fit for me. I knew this was rare, and my husband helped me brainstorm some questions to ask around how confident my doctor was in this, also trying to understand what's his end count, like how many people does he treat with my condition. He told me he personally sees someone with autoimmune hepatitis, one person every 2 to 3 years. One person every 2 to 3 years. That is not the case when he's treating IBD or IBS or colon cancer or anything else that he's looking at. This is just such an outlier. And he did want to impress on me that there is a standard treatment, and if we didn't know about my complexities, we would treat it that way. But we do know about my complexities. So here's where we landed. And it was kind of exciting because I was afraid to ask him for a second opinion or a referral. But that was his idea. Well, we both had the idea. He said it first, which is probably good. And humility is something I really like in doctors. He had said, we need to send you to a large liver center, and you are going to get a new doctor who specializes in the liver, hearts. So he gave me a whole list of liver centers. There are 4 big ones here in the Seattle area that he recommended. There's one private center that he knows a physician really well. They balance research and clinical practice. The other one that I was super excited about for obvious reasons, go Huskies, was University of Washington, the UW Liver Center. That was where I gravitated towards first because it's a teaching hospital. It's a research hospital. It is like, get me in a clinical trial, get me with the newest, greatest, whatever, put me in. I'm ready for that. So that's going to be the next step, is trying to see how quickly we can get me into a liver center so I can work with a physician who sees this all the time. The other thing that makes me really excited about that is they're going to be able to help me navigate the trade-offs better. They're going to have insights into different ways of treating. It sounds like there's a way that you treat this only with immunosuppressants, and it's a little bit more complex and you have to monitor more. I don't quite understand. There's a lot of things I don't understand that I'm going to learn. And they also know about how this will elevate risk factors for other things. Things like liver cancer are hard to catch. By the way, just because you have AIH doesn't mean you get liver cancer, but once you're in that space, we want to make sure everything's good. So I'm really excited. There are all these physicians, and he actually told me, and I wrote them all down. So now I have my own little list, and I'm going to go get this second opinion, and we're going to figure out what to do. So yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm excited. I did stop on the way home, and I bought bubble bath and dark chocolate. Okay, so I was out of both of them, and I was going to get them tomorrow, but I was so excited. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to celebrate because this is good news. This is really good news. This is really good news. As good of news as we could be at this point in the process, which is, yes, I have autoimmune hepatitis. Yes, I'm going to go and work directly with a liver doctor at one of these amazing liver centers where this is what I do, this is what they're passionate about. Can I just close by saying, why the liver? This is what I'm going to ask them. I find it fascinating when doctors focus in on something like podiatry. Why the foot? Or optometry, why the eye? It just, and of all of that, the liver, just why? It's so interesting. I would have to be a general practitioner as a physician because there's so many cool things that the body can do that I now know about, but I don't know. It just makes me wonder, what are liver doctors like? What's that going to be? So I'm super, 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 super thankful for all y'all's support and kindness to me through this process. And now that I have the diagnosis, I'm going to go and meet other people who have what I have. And I'm going to work with a doctor who does exactly this. And I am going to have a funeral for alcohol because I cannot drink. And it is unlikely I will be drinking alcohol again. So that happened. But I'm going to get, I was going to say sparkling cider, but then I was like, that's going to inflame my colon. I'm a really fun person to hang out within very narrow boundaries. So if you want to talk about autoimmune disorders and or cats and or chocolate, I'm your girl. Okay. Thanks everyone for listening. I'll hit you up soon when I learn more about my liver and what's next. Bye.